We can start.
Good morning, friends, and welcome all of you to the session today. We are grateful to you for taking out time and joining us for the session today. I am positive that you shall find the investment of time in this session definitely worthwhile. I would also like to take this opportunity to welcome Sean, my teacher, a former Buddhist monk and founder of mindfulnessexercises.com, to our session today as a speaker and guest of honor. It is very difficult to introduce a person who is as accomplished as Sean, but I'll give it my best shot and try and introduce him to the best of my capabilities. Sean is a former Buddhist monk. He's instructor of the mindfulness program developed at Google, and he's also a mindfulness consultant for Kaiser Permanente, Facebook, and EY. In one of his earlier assignments as Chief Zen Officer for wellbrain.io, Sean worked with renowned pain physicians trained at Harvard, Stanford, and Mayo Clinic and developed the world's first patented digital health solution. Sean wrote and recorded more than 200 audio mindfulness meditations for people struggling with chronic pain and associated conditions. This solution enabled physicians and other care providers to provide mindfulness and meditation in lieu of opiate to treat patients and have better clinical outcomes. Sean is a teacher of teachers and on a mission to share free mindfulness practices with 10 million people around the world for the sake of our well being and sustained survival. Would you like to know the second reason why I am so excited today? If yes, please type Y in the chat box. Thank you, friends. So, about 2 years and 2 hours ago, Sean certified me as a mindfulness meditation teacher. And his words just before he certified me were go out and teach mindfulness. World needs more teachers like you. And with those words, he certified me. And I'm very pleased to share that I started mindful living. And in the last 2 years, we have conducted we have conducted 173 sessions and trained more than 6,000 people in the corporates on mindfulness. We have conducted sessions at leading corporates in India like IBM, Times of India Group, Kotak Life, HDFC Life, Tata Group, EXL, Swiggy, and many other organizations. We are regularly invited by educational institutions, insurance companies, insurance brokers, and healthcare organizations to conduct sessions for their students and client companies. I'm pleased to share that recently I was invited to record a podcast by a healthcare organization which has got an app which has 500,000 people as active users on the app, and I've just recorded a podcast on gratitude for them, and I sincerely hope that this will help people benefit from the transformative energy of gratitude. And on that note, I will seek good wishes of everyone and blessings from Sean in helping me fulfill my mission of impacting the lives of 1 million people. And I plan to go strong for next 23 years. This is my second year. I plan to go strong for next 23 years. So seek good wishes and blessings of everyone for me to have strength to carry on with that work. And on that note, I will now invite Sean to share his wisdom with us and how mindfulness. Can I request you to On that note, I'll invite Sean to share about how mindfulness can help us deal with the challenges that COVID has thrown on us. The entire world has faced this crisis of COVID, and there are challenges people are facing. One of the research shows that there is a sense of overwhelm, having to do too much in too less a time, which is bothering a lot of people. People are struggling with relationships, whether it is with family or at work or with customers. The trust deficit is at an all-time high. Record unemployment is there, and people are having, and all of this is manifesting in health issues. People are not able to sleep. They're having many health issues. So, Sean, there are a lot of challenges which people are facing. It's taking a toll on their health and happiness. I request you to please share your insights with us and guide us through.
Sure. Well, thank you so much, Ashish. I really appreciate the invitation to be here today. It's an honor to be with you all. Good morning. It's wonderful to collaborate with Mindful Living and support the cause, especially during these difficult times. With COVID, as you said, there's increasing stress, anxiety, depression, overwhelm, chronic disease, family challenges, divorce, so many challenges arising. And so, more and more people are looking for ways to cope and to find resilience, to find themselves again, to be able to feel that sense of contentment and fulfillment, sense of ease with themselves and with others. And, mindfulness has been shown for hundreds of years and thousands of years to be a very effective tool and practice for finding that sense of ease, well-being, spaciousness in the mind, and it can help to open the heart to ourselves and to others with a sense of courage and care and compassion. A lot of science research in the world's top universities and hospitals have shown that mindfulness is one of the most powerful tools for impacting our mental health and physical health, and is really important for building resilience. So I've been teaching mindfulness for corporations like Google, Facebook, also healthcare institutions, and trained over 100 people to teach mindfulness around the world. So I hope to be able to share some tips and tools with you today that will be helpful for your own life, and you can try them and see what works for you. I'm not here to convince you of anything or to tell you you have to do something, but if you hear something that you think may be useful, I encourage you to give it a try. And so I'd actually like to start with a brief practice, just for a few minutes. So I invite you, if you're in a place where you feel safe and comfortable, to just find a sense of relaxation in the body. See if you can feel your feet flat on the ground. Maybe take a couple of deep breaths. Breathing in and out, and softening the belly a little bit, relaxing the belly and allowing the belly to rise and fall as you breathe. You can close your eyes or look downward just to limit visual distractions if that feels safe and comfortable to you. You don't have to. But with this practice, we're simply going to just notice the physical sensations of the belly as we breathe. And so the belly may be rising and falling. Sometimes it's helpful to put your hand on your belly just to encourage a sense of connection with the belly. Just seeing if we can notice any movement of the belly. Noticing the physical sensations of the belly as we breathe. We're not trying to breathe a certain way. We're not judging anything to be good or bad, right or wrong. We're just noticing what it feels like around the belly as we breathe. So maybe you can notice sensations of heaviness or lightness around the belly. Warmth or coolness. Maybe there's a sense of pleasantness or unpleasantness. You can even explore where the sensations are around the belly that you can feel. So, how far left and how far right can you notice sensations of movement as you breathe? How far up and down can you notice the sensations of the belly? Maybe being curious about how far forward or how far back you can feel the belly as you breathe. So we're simply being with the sensations of the belly with a sense of gentle curiosity, gentle awareness. of whatever we can feel. Our minds will get distracted. That's normal. Or sometimes we may judge our experience, or judge ourselves, or judge something else outside ourselves. And that's normal. But can we come back to the sensations of the belly without judging things to be good or bad, right or wrong? We're just simply noticing what we can feel, what we can sense. Just being mindful of breathing, with the fullness of each inhale and exhale, and even the pause in between the exhale and the inhale. Softening into this experience as it is. So now I invite you to perhaps wish yourself a sense of ease, wishing ourselves a simple sense of care, and wishing each other a sense of health and well-being, and the same quality of non-judgmental awareness for the rest of our day. So now maybe taking another deep breath or two. Maybe wiggling your fingers or toes. Feeling your feet flat on the ground. And opening your eyes whenever you're ready. So that was a mindfulness meditation in which we were simply being mindful of breathing, what the experience of breathing felt like in the body, around the belly. So we're simply noticing however the belly felt as we breathe. So mindfulness is this non-judgmental, moment-to-moment awareness of our experience. It's simply noticing the sensations of our experience with this gentle awareness or caring curiosity, non-judgment. and staying with it moment to moment to moment, and seeing if we can stay present for longer and longer periods of time. And when I first started practicing mindfulness meditation, I would quickly get distracted. And I was always trying to feel good or positive, or I was trying to feel peace. And that's normal. But over time, as we develop our practice, we learn to simply notice whatever we're feeling, whether we like it or not, without judging it to be good or bad, right or wrong. We're simply noticing, oh yes, this moment is like this. It may be pleasant, it may be unpleasant, it may be familiar, it may be unfamiliar, it may be emotional, or it may be very simple. But whatever this experience is, can we open to it and be with it without reacting? So mindfulness is this non-judgmental, moment-to-moment awareness of whatever our experience is. And so mindfulness of breathing is a foundational practice where we get to practice sensing into the belly as we breathe. We can notice the belly rise and fall. We can put our hand on our belly if we want to. We can do this lying down at night when we're falling asleep as a way to build concentration and a sense of embodiment. It can help us get out of our head and into our body with a sense of care. And usually that's very helpful for falling asleep if we're laying down pretty tired. But it can also be useful sitting in a chair in the kitchen. You can do this on the couch before you watch TV. You can do this in the car, just sensing into the belly, noticing the sensations, and practicing this non-reactivity, not trying to do anything about it or fix anything or judge it, but simply being with it. And part of the magic of mindfulness is that when we truly open to an experience without reacting, the experience typically changes relatively quickly. So, for example, if we're feeling stress, over time we can learn to be with greater and greater levels of physical stress in the body. And when we pay attention to it with a sense of gentle, non-judgmental awareness, that stress will typically process much sooner than it would otherwise. So we're not judging the stress to be bad. Some professionals who are type A personalities or overachievers, very successful professionals, sometimes we judge stress to be good. So, we're not judging the stress to be good or bad. We're simply noticing what it actually feels like in the body and staying with it for however long we can. Allowing it to be here. Allowing it to change. Allowing it to intensify if it feels safe for you, and allowing it to go and noticing how that feels moment to moment to moment. So with emotions like anxiety, depression, sadness, it's important to remember that it's okay to feel what we feel. So I'll say that again. It's important to remember that it's okay to feel what we feel. And so, since those emotions live in the body, they have a physical manifestation in the body, we can notice what those emotions feel like physically, viscerally. So, anger may feel hot and energetic or tight. There may be a lot of heat and tension around the head or the belly. That will feel very different than sadness or anxiety. And so part of uh, emotional awareness and emotional intelligence and emotional resilience is building the capacity to notice how these emotions feel physically in the body, being curious about what we can sense in the moment when we have this emotion present. Can we open to it and allow it to be here? Can we stay with it with full allowance? Can we get to know it? Can we welcome it? It's not saying that we have to like it, but can we honor it um, as it is? Can we acknowledge it? Can we be with it? And so the more we practice this, the more we can open to it and stay with it with less and less judgment. And that builds strength. That builds confidence. That builds emotional intelligence, because we know what this is, we know where it is, we know what it feels like, and we know we can be with it. And then we have more choice on how to proceed. Okay, so I was with this emotion for a little bit. I'm not going to allow it to overwhelm me, or I'm not going to react, but I can choose how to proceed with more clarity. I can choose to go for a walk, maybe meditate for longer, get some water, talk with a friend. You know, we all have our own wisdom and our own ways of dealing with things. But by being with the emotion in the body, that gives us more freedom to choose how we respond. And this is very useful in the office, when we're working with deadlines and teams. This is very useful for family life, for the stressors of being human. And so we're playing around with this capacity to be with any kind of sensation there is. So, can we sense into the bottoms of our feet as we walk? And practice mindful walking. What is it like to walk? What does it feel like to be walking in this body? And practice mindful eating, really sensing into the body and the tongue and the mouth, really sensing the food and the drink that we're consuming, and how our bodies feel before, during, and after eating or drinking. Can be extremely useful for many, many reasons, like addiction, obesity, health, overeating, undereating. Can we sense into sounds entering our ears? Really being mindful of all the layers of sounds around us. Not judging the sounds, but simply noticing and allowing these sounds to be here. Being curious about volume, pitch, tone, timbre, frequency, all the elements of sound. So there's many ways we can be mindful. And the more we practice some of the foundational practices like mindfulness of breathing, the more we'll start to notice more aspects of our experience that we'd never noticed before. The longer we can stay present for our own experience and also for other people, we can really connect with the people who are important to us and really be with them with less and less distraction, less and less judgment, less and less fear. And so in moments of stress and anxiety, I encourage everyone to try taking moments during the day for maybe 3 mindful breaths. You know, you don't need to become a yogi or live in a monastery like I did. You don't need to, this is not necessarily religious, but can we just be mindful for 3 breaths? Maybe you're in the bathroom in between meetings. Maybe you just finished lunch and are getting ready to go back to work. Maybe you're getting ready to go to work right now. You don't need to take an hour out of your day to practice this, but you can take these little moments to bring mindfulness to something like breathing, just for a few breaths, just to check in. If you have more time, you can just find a comfortable place to sit. You can close your eyes or just look downward and bring mindfulness to the belly for a few minutes or longer as you breathe. You can practice mindful walking, at work, walking to your office or your board meeting or whatever it is. Like, you can practice sensing into the bottoms of your heels, arch, toes, heel, arch, toes, heel, arch, toes, heel, arch, toes, and sensing into the physical sensations of pressure, temperature. Am I walking with the outsides of my feet or the insides? Am I walking on, am I leaning forward or am I leaning back? Like, how does that feel on the bottoms of my feet? Maybe it's pleasant, maybe it's not. Can we notice sensations of each foot as we walk? When we talk with each other, sometimes we can pause just for a few seconds, sense into the body, sense into our experience, notice what's going on. Maybe take a deep breath. Find a little bit of balance. Am I listening to this person? Am I actually hearing what they're actually saying? Or is there a lot of emotion in me during this conversation? Can I notice that? Can I feel it? Can I allow it to be here? And the more we practice this non-judgmental moment-to-moment awareness of what's actually happening, we are allowing our prefrontal cortex of our neo-mammalian brain to help us to process more information more clearly. And we're not letting the strong emotions of our lives overwhelm us or overtake us. So this practice of mindfulness takes a lot of courage, because sometimes our experience is not pleasant. Why would I want to pay attention to something that I don't like? Why would I want to pay attention to something that I'm trying to get rid of? And so it's rather ironic that when we actually do pay attention to it without judgment, without judging it to be bad or wrong, when we bring this gentle curiosity to the actual experience, we find that that experience shifts, and that we will discover a new sense of freedom and spaciousness. But it's not easy, and it takes courage to do this. And so we can start with these baby steps, something simple, something relatively easy, like mindfulness of breathing. Just sensing into the belly as we breathe. Just noticing the rising and falling of the belly. Mindful walking, sensing into the bottoms of the feet. And science has shown us that the more we practice this, the more we get better at it. It's like building a muscle. We're building a part of our brain called the insula that's responsible for interoception, which allows us to sense into the body and sense into our experience. So we're building this muscle with practice. The more we practice, the longer we stay with our experience with less and less judgment, the better we get at it. So, when I first started practicing mindfulness, it was pretty difficult, which was very interesting to me. Like, why is this so simple and yet so difficult? But the more we practice, the better we get at it. And we start to notice it impacting more and more areas of our life. Mental health, physical health, relationships, work. So my invitation is to have that courage to try this, see what works for you. Try just a little bit each day if you can, and see how it goes. And over time, build it into longer periods of time and practicing being mindful of more and more different types of experience. So I hope that was useful. Be happy to answer any questions or clarify anything for anyone, and hear what you think.
Thank you, Sean, for the many insights that you shared with us in the session today. I'm sure that's going to help many, many people. And we now open the session up, for question and answers. You can put your questions in the chat box, or you could unmute yourself and speak. And while we're waiting for the questions, Sean, I would like to share some of the feedback that has been coming on the chat. People have found the session amazing, powerful, uh, excellent session. This is some of the comments that we have got on the chat. Uh, one of the questions, very practical. One of the questions that has come is, could you please tell us a little bit about MBSR?
Sure. So MBSR stands for mind-blowing session. No, it stands for mindfulness-based stress reduction. And so it's basically like a 8-session program developed by John Kabat-Zinn, for um, pain reduction, stress management. It's a medical-backed program in which you learn mindfulness of breathing, mindful walking, self-compassion tools, and you learn how to sense into stress, sense into your experience without judgment. It's primarily meant for physical health, but obviously it enhances mental health a lot. But it's been around for decades. There's MBSR teachers around the world, and it's a wonderful program that I encourage people to try if they're interested.
Sean, thanks for that. We have got a question. What is the good amount of time to practice every day?
Yeah. I think that each person can make that own decision, their own choice on how much time feels appropriate for them. I think that for an ongoing mindfulness practice, my encouragement is to see if you can do at least 10 minutes a day, if you can. But if you only do 3, that's fine. But it is like building a muscle. So the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the more effects that you'll feel. I read some science that shows that it takes about 8 or 9 minutes for the nervous system to start to settle, and for the practice to really start to flourish. So I suggest going for at least 10 minutes if you can. But typically the longer people practice, like the longer they practice. So, when I first started, I was doing 10 minutes, and then I went to 20 minutes, and then I went to 30 minutes, and then as a monk, I went up to like 4 hours. But, for most of us, I think 10, 20 minutes is fine. However, in times when life is extremely stressful or extra demanding, I encourage you to double your practice, because we need it. if we're extra stressed, then we could use some extra practice. But again, if all you do is 3 breaths or 3 minutes, that's totally fine. But whatever you can do comfortably on a consistent basis, I would say that's totally fine. There's no right or wrong around that.
Thank you, Sean. Sean, you referred to this while you were speaking also, that it is very difficult. We understand that it is simple and powerful practice, but at times it becomes difficult to get into the discipline of doing 3 minutes or 10 minutes. Is there, and even though people know it's good for them, they are not able to bring themselves around to doing it. Is there any suggestion you would like to give to people how they can build it into their daily lives, or something you would like to offer to them?
Yeah. So, so I can distinguish between formal practice and informal practice. So formal mindfulness practice is like meditation, in which we sit down and we just kind of notice our experience as we're closing our eyes. But informal practice, you can be mindful of anything at any part of the day. It doesn't necessarily have to be 3 breaths or 3 minutes. You can notice the temperature of the shower or the bath on your skin as you're getting ready for the day. Just noticing temperature of the water on your skin. Little things, we can be mindful of anything. And all of us have had the experience of being mindful. It's nothing new, it's just a practice. So you can be mindful of noticing the colors of the trees, different shades of colors on the trees. The sounds around you. You can notice how you're sitting at your computer, like, how am I holding myself? Can I feel the weight of my body on the chair and on the ground? Can I sense into gravity, that downward pull? Can I notice various parts of my body as I'm standing or sitting? Like, what can I feel around my feet, my legs, my belly, my chest, my shoulders, my hands? Eating, noticing the temperature of the food, texture, taste, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant. Like, am I actually experiencing this meal, or am I lost in thought, or listening to a story or watching something on the internet? Like, can I be present for this experience of eating as much as I can? So, it's kind of fun to think, what can I be mindful of today? Like, what can I notice? What can I be present for? And give it a try.
I think that those insights will help a lot of people, Sean. Your point about formal and informal practice, and we could be, mindful of what we are thinking, eating, drinking, or the temperature. I think that's going to help a lot of people. We have got one more question, which is, what are the simple techniques people can use to sense stress or well-being on a day-to-day basis? You may have already responded to this, but is there anything you would like to add?
Yeah, I think a simple technique is, so for stress, I would say, where is the predominant energy? Is it in the head, the chest, or the belly? So I tend to think of like 3 places in the body: the head, the chest, or like around the heart or lungs, and the belly. So head, chest, belly. Like, where is there a lot of energy? Like what part of the, which of those three places are kind of calling for my attention? And so for different kinds of stress, it may be the head, maybe the chest or the belly. So where is the predominant energy? And then can I just hang out in that area for a little bit and be curious? Kind of explore that area of the body and notice things like heaviness or lightness, warmth or coolness, tightness or spaciousness. Is there a sense of movement or stillness? Is there a sense of pleasantness or unpleasantness? Is there a sense of dryness or wetness? Where are the precise locations of the sensations? Like, how far forward in the belly, chest, or head can I feel this? How far back? How far left and right? Up and down? You know, if we're feeling tension in the shoulders, like, where exactly is this tension? How far up the shoulders does it go? How far down? How far outwards and inwards? Is it like 2 inches under the skin, or is it like on top of the skin? Is it more like in the center or the sides? How thick is it? So really upping curiosity. So choosing one of those three locations, like where is there the most energy? Is it head, chest, or head, chest, or belly? And then being really curious about the different kinds of physical sensations without judging them, but just being curious. And then, yeah, for well-being, you know, can we bring the sense of caring, curiosity to our experience? Can we invite a sense of ease? Can we remember that this, you know, can we wish ourselves well? Can we remember the care that other people have for us? And there's a lot we can say about this, but those are a few things that I would suggest.
I think that's very helpful, and I'm sure Manoj, you will find value in what Sean has just shared. We have another question, very interesting, Sean, which is how to follow mindfulness when you are going to get angry, or when you are about to lose temper, or you're feeling confused. And the person is also asking, is this question valid? I think it's if I may on your behalf answer, I think the question is very valid and we would like to hear your perspective. But one thing I would like to say, Sean, is this person has already built a certain level of awareness, because he's sensing that he's going to get angry. Otherwise, you may not even get that option to pause. Here he is wanting to know what to do when he's sensing. So what would
Yeah, and this can be very challenging for all of us. Um, you know, one thing that a lot of people find helpful is, you know, when you notice yourself about to get angry, can I pause? So you don't have to do anything or follow it, but can you just pause and just kind of stop for a second and then notice, okay, I feel the anger rising. Okay, you know, where is it? What's going on? It's probably getting hot. And with anger, a lot of us will judge our anger to be right. Like, what they're doing is wrong. I need to be angry. You know, like, this anger is good. You know, I need to follow it. Some of us feel that way. Sometimes we will judge ourselves for feeling angry. But whatever the judgment is, can we soften the judgment a little bit? Can we notice that we're feeling that the anger is right or wrong? Saying, okay, interesting. I think this anger is right. Or I think this anger is bad. So just noticing the judgment and then coming back to the body and just feeling it a little bit. Where is it? And the more we do this, the more we move from a place of like, I am angry, towards a place of there is anger. So we're not identifying with the anger as much the more we practice this, because we notice that the anger is in the body and it's rising and it feels a certain way and I can be with it, but it's not all of who I am. I have the choice to act with anger, or just pause for a while longer and then choose a different response. So in my opinion, I think anger can be very useful sometimes. Like if someone is being mean to our kid, our daughter or son, like I'm going to be angry with the person who's harming my child. I think there are some situations when anger can be useful. If we're fighting for something useful, but can we do that from a place of choice? So pausing, stopping what we're doing, noticing the judgment of the anger being right or wrong, softening the judgment, coming back to the body, sensing it, realizing that the anger is not all of who you are. It's not I am angry. It's there is anger. Staying with the anger, staying with the sensations of anger, breathing, and then reflecting on an appropriate response. Maybe I do need to stand up for myself. Maybe I need to let this person know that what they're doing is wrong. Or maybe I can choose to listen or ask some questions or speak in a way that's a little bit more respectful. So there's many different kinds of responses we can have, but if we can be with the anger and not identify it, if we can soften the judgment around the anger, we then have much more freedom and choice in how we respond. And we're not allowing the emotion to hijack the amygdala, part of the reptilian brain that's responsible for flight or freeze. Instead, we're relying on our prefrontal cortex that allows us the clarity of mind to choose our response.
I think that distinction between I am angry versus I am experiencing anger is very important. And as we practice and become aware of where my anger is coming from, whether it is self-righteousness or judgment, I think that will help in dealing with the anger. I'm sure, Samir, this will add a lot of value. Uh, he says is very nicely explained. Thank you. And Sean, as much as we would like to continue this discussion, and I'm sure people are finding so much value, but I'm conscious of the time, that we have, and you have commitments. So I'll like to, really thank you, but we have somebody very special who would like to say thank you to you. So I will invite that person to come and say thank you to you, and then we will bring the session to a close. Uh, Mom, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Very much there.
Uh, can
Hello,
you?
Sean.
Hello, nice to hear you.
Nice. Thank you very much, Sean. We are grateful to you for your taking your time and sharing your insight with us. Very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, can you put your camera on? Yeah.
Thank you, Sean. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'd be happy to come back at some point again and glad.
Yes, definitely. Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Sure. Thank
Listening you. It's nice to listening you.
you. A real treat. Great. Well, yeah, I wish everyone a happy, mindful day. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Sean. I'll request the marketing team to also put the link of the mindfulnessexercises.com on the chat so people can use that to access Sean. It's a wonderful website. It is a ocean you can dive deep into because there are 1,800 free mindfulness exercises. There are downloadable meditation sessions, worksheets, and so much that is there on that. So please get connected with us on mindfulnessexercises.com and access those resources which are available free to us. Also, I would request the marketing team to share the link of our YouTube channel. That's where we upload all the videos of the sessions that we do, including the video of this session will get uploaded on our YouTube channel. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that's where you can access all the message. There is one. I'll just like to request you for your feedback. Your feedback is very important to us. So we are sharing the feedback link. It takes less than a minute. Please share your feedback. It helps us curate better and better programs for you in days to come. So stay on for a couple of seconds and share your feedback. And once you've done the feedback form, please type FD in the chat box. And I would also like to use this time to share with you about the next session that we have, which is on 6th of March. There is an International Women's Day coming up on 8th of March. And in recognition of that, we are doing a special session this time on meditative art, on art therapies. I'm sure you will find a lot of value in that session. We will let you know the time. Stay connected with us on YouTube. Give us your feedback, and we'll be happy to welcome you. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sean, for the many insights that you shared with us today.
Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate the invitation.